I might be able to knock him on the floor and run as fast as I could to the door. At least I'd have a chance. Yeah, so I might as well slam myself into the concrete classroom wall. That might have hurt less. I drove my shoulders into his shins with all my might, only he didn't move an inch. I felt those two anvil-sized hands wrap around the top of my jeans, and I was suddenly weightless, high up in the air now. Shondell had pulled me up to his level. He held me there for a few seconds. He got this crooked grin on his face as he looked me over with those wild eyes, trying to figure out where to start beating. I thought of my parents forcing me to come to this fucking place every day like this, with this fucking animal, telling me that Catholic school was not worth their money, that I didn't really try my best at anything, so what was the point of them spending any money on my schooling? They'd probably be relieved that I was gone, less to worry about. With his left hand still holding me in the air, I saw the right hand begin to cock back, getting ready to swing. I knew that Shondell James could have been punching through a street light, and his fist would have been strong enough to crush through the other side. I braced myself for pain. "Shondell!" roared the high school dean of security, Mr. Mann. Mr. Mann is this old, gray-haired hammer of a man with wrists like telephone poles who has supposedly worked at the school for like 50 years or some crazy number. Let me tell you, this is one hard-ass dude. Motherfucker rides a motorcycle to work in the Bronx. A big, loud one, too, all black and steel. Parks it right out front of the school and no one touches it. In the fucking Bronx. His favorite thing to say is this: "I've killed before and I'll kill again. Don't test me." I mean, this guy must have loved intimidating kids or something, because he's supposedly been about to retire for the last 20 years, but he's still here. And the funny thing is that Mann's not even really supposed to deal with the middle school kids at our school. Now, we don't have a dean or an AP, and our AP changes like every few months, so he helps out a little. Mann is the only person in the building who Shondell actually respects enough to listen to. Supposedly some shit about run-ins with Shondell's older brothers over the years, but who really knows? So anyway, Mr. Mann yells out, and Shondell's hand stops like an inch from my face. I could feel the heat from his knuckles against my nose, and he's still holding me with his left hand when he turns to Mr. Mann and says, "Yo, my son, woman, what's up?" Then he just laughs, because Shondell is crazy. "Boy, what are you doing?" Mr. Mann's voice boomed through a sly smile. "This little bitch didn't want to give me his homework. So, he probably worked real hard on it. I mean, look at him. Kids like him live to do homework. Why should he give it to you? And what would you even do with it anyway?" I don't exactly understand how relationships between these types of people work. But I suddenly felt like a Monopoly piece, like the thimble. This all just seemed like some fucked up game between the two of them. Shondell looked at me and smiled, his jagged teeth inches from my face. "Can you please put him down?" commanded Mance. "Yes, son, I got you." He dropped me on the floor. Shondell turned to the rest of the class, and they all gathered around a few seconds earlier to get a better view of my death. "Anyone gives you any trouble when I ask for something again, I'm snuffing first, and I'll deal with the man later. Y'all all been warned." No kid made a sound. For the sake of us all, Mann tried to make his face look hard at Shondell, but you could tell he was laughing on the inside. Shondell then turned back to let me know, "You better pray you don't see me again. I got you, son. You dead. I'm gonna kill your ass." With that, he turned away. "Yo, woman, let me roll with you. I'll let Miss S teach her class today." Side by side, they both brushed past Miss Stewart, who was still standing in the door frame with this totally frustrated look on her face, without even pretending to notice her, and walked out the door. I remember sitting on the floor after they left. No one helped me up, but no one made fun of me either. Nothing about this moment felt like what school should feel like. We all just kind of hung around waiting for Miss Stewart to finally come into the room and start her class, but she never did come in to start her class, not that day or ever again. And that's the end of that chapter. So it's from a later chapter in the book. There's 2 footnotes to go along with it. I mean, there's a bunch of footnotes, but he footnotes, the writer, the kid footnotes his writing because of something that happens in a later chapter where a teacher's trying to inspire him and they give him The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. So he doesn't totally get it and feels ashamed about it, but he got the idea of the footnotes. So that's the last 2 I'll read. Another teacher had to step in for her. I heard she got a different job teaching at a better school. Can't blame her. So that's that. I have one. If I have time, I have one other. It's way shorter than this one. I don't know if I have time though. I don't know who to look to. Okay. That I want to try out. This is chapter 4. If I ever write a memoir about teaching, it's going to be titled this, but it's the title of chapter 4. It's called "Who Stole My Pen." Let me tell you about my English class, my 8th period English class with Miss Jones. She's nice enough usually. Some real skinny white lady from Oregon or New Jersey or something like that. But she's always asking to do all this reading and writing, like OD, every day. My last class of the day, we're all trying to just chill, and she expects us to read and write. We never get to do anything fun. Never. If she had it her way, the class would read and write until our brains explode and write until our hands bled. But luckily for me, we got some kids at the school who keep it difficult for Miss Jones to make our brains explode. They differ from me. Last class of the day, well, every class of the day really, I just assume sit there and do my work. But Shondell James and his squad don't always see it that way. All right, pass up this week's test and let's quietly take out our independent reading books for... Yo, nah, I'm about to injure some fool, cried Faith Green. Faith Green's built like 2 Big Macs stacked right on top of each other, and she's got a voice like a car alarm. Yo, anything can set her off. And once she starts hollering, she never stops. Faith is always yelling about something, how everyone be ODing or violating on her in just about every class. She usually just blends into the sounds of the room, but every once in a while, Shondell and them get her to get up, and then things get bad. Seriously, y'all, she have. Yo, which one of y'all fools stole my pen? She was staring right at Shondell's boys, Freddie and Malcolm. Useless pieces of shit, the 2 of them. Freddie's like the size of a piece of lettuce, and Shondell's got this jiggly fat around him because he drinks too much milk, too much of those free milks every morning. Faith continued, "Yo, I don't get that back in the snap. One of y'all's about to get smacked." I could see Miss Jones clench up a little. "Faith, we needed to be quiet in here for silent reading." "Nah, miss, one of these kids stole my pen, miss." "Faith, we're doing silent reading until the end of the day. You don't even need your pen." "Nah, miss, they played too much. They about to get smacked." Then Faith was up, on her feet, moving all slow and tight blob across the room. Miss Jones slumped. It's ELA class, so we don't sit in rows of desks like in other rooms. No, this room is huge, like twice the size of all my other classrooms. So in here we got these big ass circular tables. They all colorful too. Got these big, bright red and green, blue legs on them. There's like 7 of them tables in the room. Then each table's got 6 chairs to go with them. Colorful chairs too. Anyways, so this room's not small like other classes. So you either got to work real hard to run into stuff or just be an idiot. But now here's Faith Davis just barreling through tables and chairs and kids, knocking shit all over the place. I honestly wonder what sometimes goes through these kids' minds. So Faith finally gets over to where Freddie and Malcolm be sitting, and she's all set to go off, just set to explode. She knows we all watching her too, so she's got to put on a show. "Yo, why the fuck you 2 bitches stole my pen for? You think that's funny?" Freddie's face tensed up a little, but he just played it cool. Malcolm, though, he's about to roll on the floor, he's laughing so hard. "Yo," he says, that bitch done knocked over like 3 chairs. Yo, that bitch is crazy." Faith was in a rage. "Yo, I'm gonna stab you." "With what? Not with your pen, because you done lost it, you dumb bitch." And Malcolm was crying, he was laughing so hard. "Well, I'm gonna smack you then." And she raised her hand up and then didn't swing or really get any closer. They rarely do. From the front of the room, near where Faith was sitting, you can hear Miss Jones call out, "Faith." Her tone is mild. You can tell she's given up for the day. You can tell she's a little too used to this. "Faith, I think I see your pen under your seat, sweetie." "Yo, what you mean, miss?" "Faith, is that your pen underneath your chair right there?" And Miss Jones pointed to a pen right underneath where Faith had been sitting. "Oh, all right, bet." And Faith turned back to the boys. "Yo, you 2 lucky." She returned to her seat, this time without making such a mess. What was 20 minutes of silent reading is now just 8. Then we go home. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. All right, our next this evening